Ahoy there, and welcome back to DohMance Dawn. I'm Luke. He, him, sometimes they, them, and I am coming in loud and clear, hopefully. And I'm joined by my wonderful co host, Janine.
Hello, all. Janine, Juliet, pronouns she, they. Third thing to say, probably don't have one.
Oh, I got it. You got into AEW with all the other queer ladies.
Yeah, it's where the lesbians hang.
That's. I've been re listening to old episodes because I need to make a montage of your upcoming sadness. So I'm re listening to the podcast at 1.25 speed like a monster.
Ooh, what
Hmm.
speed do y'all listen to us at? And please just let it be one.
Yeah, my wife listens to things at like 1.5 speeds, like audiobooks and stuff, and I just listen to it and it's like, no, you need to have pauses and changes in speed to build up emotion.
That's why I listen to everything on 0.75 speed,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
can anticipate the next word just a little bit more.
Yeah, because we all love to have trashy organizational bins. I don't know. It's episode 49, Janine, and you know what that means?
Um, they're sending out a warrant.
No, they're afraid of us and our power. Next episode is going to be episode 50. And initially, I had the idea of, well, every 100 episodes, we can pitch a character retcon. As in, we can go and change a character that we already used that we feel like we could have done better. Because I know we've said in a few episodes of the show, oh, I wish we could have picked a better character for so and so because we weren't thinking or we were just riffing or, we had the better idea after the episode was recorded. So, what I'm offering to you and also the fans is we can present an idea for a character recasting for one of the many characters we have already cast and change history. How does that sound? It would be something where you and I need to agree with the change, and the community would need to come together and pick up one that they suggest as a whole.
That's very interesting. I'm
Uh-huh.
very interested to see how many people will choose Poochie Chopper.
Ooh, I feel like Poochie Chopper would be very hard to convince us because that is a character who has appeared in several pieces of art and it's grown on me. I mean,
Yeah, the latest piece kind
mhm.
of rules.
Yeah, Mike Patton, bless you and your magical fingers and also your talent that you have worked on for decades. That is a great fucking cover. But I know I've said several times, oh, I know one character I wish that we had cast differently because it's a bad one. Do you remember that character?
Uh, whew. No, I don't.
I'm talking about Axe Hand Morgan, who we used Chief Wiggum on.
Oh yeah,
Uh huh.
we did blow that one pretty
Yeah,
soon. Yeah.
yeah. Like that's a. I couldn't think of a better idea, and then ever since then, I've just been haunted by the idea of Axe Hand Milfkin, Gavin's mom as Axe Hand Morgan. So I'm putting it out on the table there. I am in support of that change, which would mean we would need to redo the first episode cover. But you don't want to get that Luffy. We want you to attack the Luffy at the bottom. Anyway, so
You could be the Luffy at the bottom by following us and joining our Discord so you can get in on the conversation.
yeah, teach the controversy. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there so you can start your brain percolating on your picks, and that will accompany the chorus of misery that I am preparing. Anyways, we are back for episode 49. We're going to be covering episodes that initially ran between March 18th and April 29th of the year 2007, which I don't remember much about that year. That
Neither
would have
do
been high school.
I. Like it was definitely pre superhero storm
Mm-hmm.
times. We were still kind of like thinking that the X-Men films were the best we're gonna get.
Yeah, because Iron Man wouldn't come out until the following year. Though we were getting the Nolan Batman. Yeah, because we got the parody of it, but the Dark Knight hadn't come out, and the first one was, I think, just campy enough that people were like, "Oh, well, I guess that's fine. Why is he doing Batman?" Academy Award winning Best Picture film director man Christopher Nolan. I didn't watch the Oscars, but Devin, our former guest, my former co-host on mini podcast, was like, "Hey, did you watch them?" And I was like, "Nope." What
Yeah.
won the Oscars in 2007?
I don't know. Like that is now like really gonna like because we see the movie parodies like so soon, and sometimes it feels like uh they're riffing on something that was such a flash in the pan
Mm-hmm.
that it didn't have like as much cultural staying power and kind of makes stuff not age very well.
It was The Departed's big year, and
Oh
also
my god. I do know The Simpsons does do a whole Departed episode later too.
Departed. Yeah, that was also the year that Happy Feet came out and won, beating Cars and The Inconvenient Truth, or An Inconvenient Truth, which seems like that should have been older.
Yeah, wow.
Also, Pan's Labyrinth. So now that we have set you appropriately back in time, we got some Simpsons episodes to discuss. The first is Homerazzi, where while retaking destroyed photo album pictures, the family accidentally gets a scandalous celebrity photo. When it proves lucrative, Homer pursues the life of a paparazzi, escalating to him interrupting Rainier Wolfcastle's wedding. The celebrity community then hires another paparazzi to bother Homer and publish a magazine of the embarrassing photos until Homer gives up. But when Homer realizes he has nothing else going for him, he catches the celebrity's debaucherous party and asks them to just show some humility, which they agree to. There's some interesting bits here. For one thing, we get J.K. Simmons back again, but a different character, because last time he was just J. Jonah Jameson.
I mean, it feels like it's kind of like just the same bit,
Mm-hmm.
but just like working in a different place. And like I don't think it's like even a different model,
Mm-hmm.
but just like a different maybe name and
Face.
place,
Yeah,
you
like
know?
the facial hair is different. He is legally distinct from J. Jonah Jameson, but he is the exact same character and speech pattern.
So we have two J.K. Simmons, one a J. Jonah Jameson and a J. Jonah Jameson like
Mm-hmm.
that we have in our arsenal in the future.
Yep. And one of them just covers poems, I believe. That was the first one that was just J. Jonah Jameson, essentially.
And the
Uh,
other one can only tell lies.
mhm. What question would you ask them? I would ask them, "Is the doctor my daughter?" Yeah, it's all right. It's nothing much memorable. We do also get another appearance by Simpsons superstar. I am blanking on his name.
Dredrick Tatum,
No. Uh,
Kent
would you
Brockman,
would you consider Dredrick Tatum a Simpsons superstar? John Lovitz.
John Lovitz. That's right.
John
John
Lovitz.
Lovitz
Yep.
plays the paparazzi
Paparazzi.
character,
Mhm.
which I
Enrico
can't believe I
Ioricano.
forgot about it because like I went nuts. It was a huge pop for me. Like when I found that out because it was just John Lovitz has some of my favorite um Simpsons characters
Mhm.
because of just how um completely much a John Lovitz character they are.
Yeah, like compared to Albert Brooks, who plays a bunch of characters who all feel very distinct, John Lovitz is kind of just John Lovitz every time.
And you love it every single time and like every single character just is just like, yeah, that seems different from that other character, but also it is exactly John Lovitz.
Oops, all John Lovitz. After that, we have Marge Gamer, where Marge gets into Earthland Realms, which is a World of Warcraft type game, and realizes that Bart, who is an infamous player in the game, uh, is also there. She starts mothering him, and eventually Bart kills her on accident. Meanwhile, Lisa gets into soccer, and Homer ends up reffing. And after he initially fails because he doesn't know the rules, he commits himself to learning them so he doesn't embarrass Lisa more. But then Lisa kind of realizes she can use her father's concern for her to help her cheat at the game, but she takes it too far and gets in trouble and gets angry at her dad for not giving her special treatment. So then Moe ends up giving Homer and Bart advice. So Homer gives Lisa a documentary about riots caused by cheating in soccer or football, and she admits that she was in the wrong. And then Bart revives Marge at the cost of his own power, and then the other players team up to murder him. And so Marge vows and then actually does pursue revenge against those players. I I find it interesting how they did kind of use a plot contrivance to bring those two plot lines together, and there's a lot of, I feel like, filler, but
I
it's fun
feel like
overall.
I feel like this definitely started off as an episode of like um saying maybe like designed around the Earth realms thing
Mm,
so much because we see so many background characters having their own avatars and stuff. It feels like, it might have probably had like more to it. I do
the,
feel like that, the other plots kind of tacked on. I mean,
mhm.
but a lot of B plot normally is because I really would have loved to see um
More time given to like the Lisa and Homer story.
yeah, I mean,
It it could have been a plot on its own, but they just kind of folded it in, and I think it comes across worse for both of them.
yeah. But I do like this idea though that like even Lisa can be wrong. Like
Hmm.
we saw it before when she faked her own Native American heritage.
Hmm.
Um
But this is not a hate crime.
yeah, yeah, definitely. This is not that bad, but this is the level that like I think, that she should be allowed to do because like you can't get mad at a little girl for making up lies. She's fucking 8. But if
Hmm.
a little girl's gonna be cheating at soccer, yeah, get Ronaldo out there.
Yeah, I do think could have been broken into two separate episodes with different B plots. And then the last one is The Boys of Bummer, where Homer gets a job selling mattresses for some reason. The Lovejoys are unhappy with their new mattress they buy from him, but then when they check out Homer's own mattress, they end up getting horny on it and they decide to trade. So then Homer and Marge can't get horny on the new mattress. So they sneak in to steal their mattress back and end up having sex on it and get caught by the Lovejoys, who suggest a King Solomon situation or a King Solomon solution. And then each of them gets half of the mattress cut sandwich style diagonally for you Europeans. And then the main plot somehow is Bart fails to make a catch and single handedly loses the baseball tournament for Springfield and becomes a pariah. And then I Hate Bart graffiti starts appearing up over town. And it turns out Bart is leaving this because of the harassment that he has suffered. And it gets bad enough that Lisa suggests that the other team plays the game with him over again in a fake rematch, and Bart gets a second chance and he misses the ball again, and then they keep resetting it until Bart finally makes the catch that he needs after 78 times. And then in the future, Milhouse reveals that it was fake, and then when Bart becomes upset, he decides to lie about it again, which was interesting, but it's it is a weird one.
It is. I mean, first off, Homer has a job. Like,
Yeah,
even if he happens to be good at it or whatever, just fucking just being like, you just have a mattress job now. Like, that's just, I feel like there would be a better way to be able to fucking get the mattress trade going, you know?
they
Like,
there could be better ways. They kind of shoehorned in like, oh, here's all the jobs that Homer has had in the run of The Simpsons in a recent episode, but it never actually went anywhere, never had anything to say other than, oh, yeah, the Springfield nuclear power plant just has forms that he fills out now for this sort of thing because it is so commonplace.
and then I did like the slow descent into madness that Bart had.
Hmm.
I thought that it definitely was kind of um the fucking 2000s insanity, like breaking a character to the point of madness. Um and I think that it definitely could have been better inside of that darker place,
Hmm.
if like if you just had the simple wrap up of they're redoing the thing, Bart gets it, and then it's like over, and like Bart tries to rationalize his way out of it, like, wait, didn't we do this again? And like they're just all like gaslighting him, like, nope, this is the first time. And just ends up being just kind of like the secret would have been like, I don't know, that feels like it would have been better. I feel like they definitely flubbed it by just like keep on going until he like does it, and then he's like in his own state of denial, and it's it's bad.
It could have been better executed.
Yeah.
But we don't need to talk about those mostly forgettable episodes anymore. We just need to run over new characters unlocked, which include Enrico Irritazio, Warrior Comic Book Guy, Barbarian Smithers, Troll Jimbo, Two Headed Dragon Patty and Selma, Homer Amoeba, Lisa Stegosaurus, Ratmo, Seven of Nine Lenny, Barbara Walters, and Sexy Eleanor Roosevelt, among many others. It's a mixed bag, but I do appreciate that we have a bunch of characters who will be helpful for having access to in One Piece.
I was looking at some of these and I was like, these were definitely some of these were definitely ones that I wish that we had access to earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like that's probably like my biggest thing about this is that like the character that seems perfect always shows up in The Simpsons a little bit too late, like Lenny Kravitz.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like, damn, having like fantasy universe and then not only that, but the couch gag that is um just an evolution line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like just that alone, I'm gonna guess is going to like be helpful in the future.
Oh, yeah. All right, and then we are covering episodes 301 through 302 and 304 through 307 of One Piece. That missing piece was covered back 2 episodes ago when we were just doing all the Detective Luffy stuff together. These episodes include, and are you ready?
Yep.
Spandam Shock. A hero stands on the Tower of Justice.
Robin's liberation. Luffy versus Lucci. Peak of the decisive battle.
If I can't win, I can't protect anyone. Gear 3 activates.
The terrifying past. Dark Justice and Rob Lucci.
A mysterious mermaid appears within fading consciousness.
The island sinking in gunfire. Frankie's outcry of regret.
And if you're just joining us on this episode and you haven't listened to any of the previous ones, we're going to do what we can to make this clear, but at least like go back a few episodes. In the underwater passage, Luffy is holding Rob Lucci off long enough to allow Frankie to get through past the gate that he had been defending. While up on the bridge, Robin holds on for her dear life as the gates of justice open, allowing the Vice Admiral fleet through to start the Buster Call. When Spandam tries to pull Robin across the bridge, he decides to finally destroy her hope, revealing that he left a bomb in the tunnel so that whoever comes up after her is going to set off that bomb, and that it was his father, Spandine, who launched the Buster Call on Ohara and left her with a bounty. But Robin still swears that her friends will save her, and the legacy of Ohara will not die. And that is when Frankie sets off the bomb and gets knocked into the ocean. And as Spandam is gloating, Sniper King appears and shoots him in the head. It's so great. I love Sniper King. He does this from across the water on the Tower of Law, where he continues firing on the Marines who are unable to reach him. Robin uses that moment to run, and when Spandam orders them to stop and shoot her, Frankie blocks the shots with his body. Soge King then fires the other keys to Frankie so he can finally free Robin. Spandam, meanwhile, refusing to believe that CP9 has been defeated, then gets the shit slapped out of him because Robin got her powers back. Feels so good.
It was the most cathartic slapping that has ever happened in One Piece.
Mm-hmm. And Robin is your acceptable hetero couple in One Piece.
So far, I mean, I can see why people ship them. I can see why some people would ship them T for T. Um, for you cis folks that aren't in the know, that means headcanoning both of them are transgender and also for each other. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, like just how he kind of like shows up and comes to save her during those crucial moments kind of does I don't know. I mean, I would be swept away by that shit.
Mm-hmm. I I find it Funny that you did think that you needed to define T for T, because I feel like anyone who was in our audience would kind of understand that.
I mean, yeah. And like I do also know trans people that are listening this and just be like, "Oh yeah, no, I totally got you. I know what you mean." Um, but I don't know. I still run into people every day that there are certain things in our lexicon that we know. I mean,
Hmm.
we're not only are you in the know of queer stuff, but like we're terminally online.
Oh
So
yeah.
like we can reference some shit and like we'll know,
Hmm.
but like,
Fair.
you know, it's best to you can't anticipate everybody will know everything or else you'll start saying things and they won't understand. And that's
Yeah.
why if this is the first episode you're listening to, go back and listen to some other episodes because this is a bad time to jump in.
And we're going to turn you queer
Uh
positively.
yeah,
We're going to make you feel welcome so that you can be true to who you are. Hopefully.
who and that
I
is whoever we tell you it's going to be.
hmm Everybody's Mo.
Assigned gender at podcast.
I've just been listening to a lot of Are You Afraid of the Dark Universe, and they've just kind of gone with the mostly right assumption that everyone who listens to that show is very queer, and they're not wrong. There's just the people who have to be like, no, I'm very heterosexual and straight and cis, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess we do need to explain things for you. So,
And you should apologize.
maybe kiss someone you wouldn't normally kiss. Uh, don't actually do that. Do not actually feel pressured to do that. Life is weird. Life is wild.
Life is like
And
a hurricane.
here in Duckburg, race cars, lasers, airplanes, it's a duck blur. Can't stop the reason for Christmas season. Jesus, woohoo. He was born inside a manger, Jesus, woohoo.
What the hell is it? Was this something that you did in
No,
your youth group, or is this just something you're
no.
riffing on now?
That's me just riffing on it now. I mean,
Okay.
growing up in elementary school, there were long periods of time where it'd be like, all right, kids, we've brought in an orchestra to the school today to play some music. Here's a song all of you will recognize. And then they just play like the DuckTales theme, but like the 90s version. And so many people were always like, we have no idea what this is. Why should we be excited? And then the band teacher would be like, all right, kids, are you ready to play a fun song? We're going to play the DuckTales theme. It's like, none of us have heard this. Like, the show started when we were still children, and we don't have this connection. The way to get people popping would be playing the Simpsons theme song. But I digress. Uh, uh, so as Sogeking starts to leave the tower, the Buster Call begins, and that is when the Marines hit the Tower of Law, which collapses, and Sogeking barely survives. Back on the bridge, Robin and Frankie take out the Marines, so Spandam calls in the rest of the ship so he can try and get help, and importantly, rescue him. Down in the underground tunnel, or underwater tunnel, technically, Kokoro, Chimney, Gonbei, and Chopper, who cannot, and Chopper, who's currently unconscious, head to where Luffy is fighting. And Kokoro loves the fun that she's having for the first time since Tom died, and they end up running into Nami down there as well. Luffy, in his fight with Rob Lucci, starts overheating as he struggles to maintain Gear 2. And as his energy runs out, the form ends, and that's when Lucci's like, "Oh, you're kind of getting weak. Let's make this shit more wild," and kicks a hole in the underground room they are fighting, so water starts to fill in, and Luffy has to work to evacuate. Meanwhile, on the surface, the rest of the Buster Call ships arrive, and they announce the only person who is safe on Innis Lobby is Nico Robin, who starts having a post-traumatic stress attack because, shit, she has lived through this again, and it is not a good situation to be in.
Yeah, like,
Mm-hmm.
damn. The more that I start thinking about this Buster Call, uh, like, it both amazes and terrifies me
Mm-hmm.
because it was called on accident, and like that motherfucker doubled down on it and just like, yeah, just kill anybody, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So it's it's fucking wild. Zoro and Sanji carry the injured Soge King through the underground tunnel behind the ladies and Chopper. That is when the wave of water starts rushing through the tunnel. Rob Lucci, meanwhile, runs up from the tunnel into another room, and Luffy follows. And things are just starting to get worse. Rob Lucci starts blasting Luffy with finger pistol blasts, so Luffy decides to activate third gear, the bone balloon, which makes his arm giant because he's literally inflating the bone inside his arm. And he just smashes Rob Lucci with it and breaks a hole through the building. And Rob Lucci gets blasted onto a Marine ship. And out on that ship, Lucci gets back up, and we find out that all the Marines are afraid of him. And Vice Admiral Doberman relates how 15 years ago, a bunch of pirates were attacking a kingdom and forced the soldiers to stand down and took them as hostages. The pirate captain wanted to become the king, and the king of the island was like, yeah, okay, you give me the hostages and I'll step down because I value these guys' lives. The world government sends in young Rob Lucci, who lets himself get captured, and Lucci first kills all the hostages because they were weak, and then kills all the pirates. And it's like, oh shit, Rob Lucci is fucking insane.
Yeah, I can't. I know that I got on One Piece because they haven't been killing people lately,
Mm-hmm.
and they've gotten back into the killing people business.
Uh-huh.
And every single time they get in that business, it's like innocent people. So that's kind of sucked.
I thought someone was cheering for deaths of innocent people.
Who said that? A person who's very turned on by middle-aged women. Oh my god. I'm gonna be haunted by that sound clip for the rest of this podcast.
I mean, there's other more haunting sound clips that we have on here. Yeah. uh, I have forgotten many things about the show that we have recorded, which is also partially why I'm re-listening, but the soundboard remembers. The soundboard remembers. I appreciate being told that the hip hop beat thing is the most deranged I have been on the show. So keep leaving comments and keep messaging me about the show as you listen through it.
Yeah, let Luke and I know points when we get even more deranged because we
Mm-hmm.
might miss those milestones.
Mm-hmm. Back in the present, Luffy jumps over after Rob Lucci and ends up destroying an entire Marine ship with his big ol' fist. But Lucci exploits Luffy's lack of speed. Meanwhile, Vice Admiral Onigumo orders the other ships to fire on Lucci and Luffy, and Luffy gets blasted away. And as his time limit with the bone balloon runs out, he turns into Chibi Luffy, who has to hide for about 2 minutes. Frankie and Robin, meanwhile, are disgusted by the Marines, and when Spondum starts to gloat again, Frankie punches him in the face. So Spondum wields Funk Free to try and hurt Robin, but Frankie wrestles the sword elephant before it can touch her, and then ends up smashing Spondum with Funk Free, which is just great. It's Chekhov's elephant sword. Back on the main part of the island, the two giants, the dock workers, and the Frankie family make it to the shore, but Vice Admiral Strawberry orders the Marines to fire on them if they move any closer. And with the Marines finally evacuated from Indy's lobby, the ships pull back and take aim. And Lucci finds Luffy hiding and goes to finish him off, but gets stopped by his earlier injuries, and Luffy is able to get back to his normal form. Down in the tunnels, the water starts hitting everyone, and as they begin to drown, a mysterious mermaid rescues them from the water, which turns out to be Granny Kokoro.
I remember messaging you the moment I found out
Ah,
because I said, of course, she's a mermaid.
mm-hmm.
Homegirl drinks like a fish.
Uh-huh. So Frankie and Robin, meanwhile, take over a Marine escort ship while they wait for the rest of the crew to arrive so they can get out, which is when Granny Kokoro arrives with the party. They wake up and they are divided about acknowledging Granny Kokoro being a mermaid, and she explains that when mermaids turn 30, their tails split and they can walk on land. That will come back later. It's Chekhov's Mermaids Turning 30. The crew have a tearful reunion, and because of using 3 rumble walls, the now conscious Chopper is unable to move. The crew decide to go and check on the island and realize that the Marines don't want to risk killing Nika Robin, so they decide to hold tight for now. And Sanji asks Frankie about how his friends are, and Frankie is confident that his friends are perfectly fine. Meanwhile, Polly finds a transponder snail while the Marines open fire on them, blasting them backwards, and Frankie is still sure that they're fine until he hears the Marines confirm that they are all dead. Are you happy wanting more death now, Janine?
Listen, we all say things sometimes. Sometimes we get frustrated, and in the moment, we just call for death, and death shows up, and death doesn't care who he takes. He just takes, and then he takes, and then he keeps on fucking taking this batch of episodes. What the hell?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So the island is considered to be destroyed except for the Bridge of Hesitation, and Luffy just acknowledges that he is ready to die if it means defeating Rob Lucci. And that's where we end for this episode of recaps. One Piece.
Death comes for us all.
One Piece. All right, and we have 5 characters to match right now. So, are you ready to get through these 5 characters?
Yes, and let me tell you the thing about this list. For
Uh-huh.
me, personally,
Mm-hmm.
when I started this list, I wrote down names
Mm-hmm.
while I was watching Simpsons episodes again because I wanted to do a Rodrigo style.
Mm-hmm.
And I left it at that until this morning.
Mm-hmm.
But this morning, I woke up with a very terrible hangover,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't want to just have 5 names for 5 characters, but also I was hungover as fuck. So I started pulling in other names from the list that was gathered of characters that we had unlocked. So it is for Janine for today, probably for the first time and maybe last time ever, a double Rodrigo.
A DRR or a DR. A doctor? Is this the doctor that I'm visiting? So, we also opened up two characters to listener suggestions. So we also have a very full roster. And Janine, I did something special for you. Would you like to know what that is?
Let's find out as we go through so that it could be a little surprise for me. But
Oh,
also
no.
be sure to call it out.
Oh, I specifically went and made a uh, guide that has screen caps of the characters that I'm submitting for the ideas. And I just shared that with you in Discord.
Ooh.
I know. So, up first, we have Doberman, aka Vice Admiral Doberman, who he has a weird mustache, a very angry vibe, and scars on his face. The two suggestions that I had were Obergruppenführer Wolfcastle and my Rodrigo style, which is new Jose Canseco, because we got an updated Jose! And I'm Mark. Who do you have, Janine?
I also had the new Jose Canseco,
Mm-hmm.
but also the different one that I had that you did not have was the kick-ass Virgin Mary statue.
Yes, the one that was animated by a football cheating riot. And then, what's this?
Pere, 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 pere. Pere, 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 pere.
We got suggestions. King Atticus suggested Theodore Roosevelt, the Shadow Knight, and then King Atticus was seconded on that one welder guy for Mr. Costington. I I think those are fine, but I'm Team Jose, new Jose Canseco.
Hmm.
I feel like he could pull off a hat, and we're going to get even more Nazi-ish guys, so we should probably save people for that. So it sounds to me like new Jose Canseco is a home run.
Yes, that. I mean, I would love to give it to the fans, but when we both converge on something, and in a Rodrigo style, it kind of just feels like it's meant to be.
Mm-hmm. Up next, we have Vice Admiral Momanga, who has a kind of top knotty mohawk, wears a striped suit, and has a very long sword. And Janine, who do you have?
Well, let's see here. My first pick was Smithers the Barbarian,
Mm-hmm.
and second hit that I had was Troll Kearney.
Interesting. My Rodrigo style for this one was Flint Drywall. And then I also had the Tailhook Scandal Admiral and Tom Savini. And now we got some suggestions in. I'm not going to play the clip again. That one welder guy suggested Australian Bootman. King Atticus also suggested Flint Drywall and Mohawk Hibbert. But that one welder guy suggested, and it was supported by artist of the show Mike P and new listener Reverse Eye Patch for Sideshow Mel.
Just regular Sideshow Mel?
Just regular Sideshow Mel.
You think I'm gonna blow Mel on this? I mean, guys, I love you to death,
Mm-hmm.
but I love Mel. I love Mel. I can't. I couldn't part with Mel for anything less than 5 stars. That's a personal Janine thing.
I mean, Mel does need to stick around to have sex with a animatronic furry.
Everybody needs to stick around to have sex with an animatronic furry. We've all seen the Five Nights at Freddy's porn. There's at least one
So
image that has done it for one of us.
I don't get why it's so big, and I also don't get why people are so horny for Five Nights at Freddy's. Do people just want to be crushed inside a robot suit that kills them? And then their soul becomes trapped in that suit and I guess becomes a sex machine?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you don't
Ah,
ever think that things are going to be like weird when you're growing up because you're like, hey, everything is just how everything is, and I'll never be weirded out by what the kids are doing now. And then the kids want to fuck a Chuck E. Cheese like fucking robot, and you just like you just gotta face and just be like, no, I guess I'm old now. I get because I don't want to fuck it, and I don't
I
think
mean,
anybody should fuck it, but I mean, I there's an allure there, I guess, for them.
Janine, I think we're kind of forgetting the classic intro to themes. No one ever told you you were going to want to fuck a animatronic murder machine. I'm interested in your reasoning for Barbarian Smithers and Troll Kearney.
Honestly, there is none, because I don't know anything about this person.
So, I know I was seconded on this by Atticus. Flint Drywall, he got a mustache.
That's true. Flint Drywall does have a mustache.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I'm fine with it.
Hmm. Like I feel like Flint Drywall, or we could finally use Tom Savini here, but we'll,
You put
we'll
Tom Savini back in the box.
okay. I'll put Tom Savini back in the Uter pile. Oh no, he's getting his arm stuck in a blood pressure tester, and the zombies are ripping him apart. So then we're doing Flint Drywall.
Yes.
All right. King Atticus got half of one on the board. We then have Vice Admiral Onigumo, who has got to improve his hair regimen, and he's just wearing a plain gray suit and a tie. And my suggestions that I had for this were Rodrigo style of Barbarian Smithers because of that long mane. But then I also had the Army Colonel from G.I. Doe. Sorry,
Mm.
G.I.
Yeah. For this one, I had Ronaldo.
Mhm. Soccer Superstar.
Exactly, and person who goes around the world exposing floppers. And I also had Troll Mo, although he could just be
So
a very ugly elf. We don't know.
So I really like the army colonel the army colonel solution because Onigumo has no compunctions about firing on civilians or treating them as if they are just in the way. I think that fits for a person who is involved in this buster call. I feel like they have similar builds and similar vibes.
You don't think that Ronaldo isn't prepared to do a buster call if he finds a flopper?
I feel like Ronaldo would be a person who doesn't need a ship and would not need all of these extra people to seek justice.
Hmm. The only reason why I'm not precious on this character. The only reason why I'm a little bit hesitant is because I know that we're going to run into a lot more army personnel,
Hmm.
uh, marine groups in the future, and I worry if like this is like too small of potatoes for someone so high ranking in the Simpsons fiction.
Who is only in one episode.
I mean, we respect the ranks when it comes to One Piece.
Hmm. I feel like
Although I don't know when anybody else returns, and apparently there's a few that we've named that are going to show up again.
oh yeah, they kind of just return when it's just like, we need to pull back a Navy person who already exists.
Do you really feel fine throwing a general out there?
He's a colonel, Janine.
Sure, whatever, I don't care. But like a ranked military officer, not like a soldier?
Yeah, he doesn't have a name, but I mean, Vice Admiral Onigumo is a ranked military officer.
I guess. I don't know. It's just 2 stars.
I mean,
Like
there is
I
a
would feel better like if it was just like a bully or just like a jerk.
so I am going to back myself up by saying One Piece has also just brought back army or military marine shit. One Piece has brought back military characters and been like, "Oh, hey, now this is your time to shine." So, considering that One Piece isn't over yet, we can still see someone named Onigumo coming back because, if I remember correctly, the Onigumo is a sort of demon spider, and I feel like this is not the last we have seen. Like Momanga and Doberman have gotten bigger scenes on their returns, and the other vice admirals, I think, can still have that chance.
Hmm. All right.
I wore you down. We then have Yamakiji or Yamakaji. Who do you have for Yamakaji?
I have Pigman Wiggum and
Mhm.
Bishop Ned.
So I was digging through the Uter pile for one of these. Not my Rodrigo style, which is Tuvok Hibbert from the Simpsons Voyager party. I also have Fidel Castro. I am offering you a treat of Fidel Castro, Janine.
I don't know if
Does
I
it?
want a Fidel Castro. I mean, yeah, I guess I could kind of see it, but I don't
Mhm.
know.
Fidel was also in the Cuba military.
I know Cuba's got a military. I know military. I get it. I get it. I
Hmm.
just I don't know. I don't know. I'm sweet on Castro. What can I say?
Ah,
But I don't want to be accused of being too precious with Castro. You
I
know,
mean, I've
with
been
the
the one who's
whole
been precious with Castro.
That's true.
I mean, but look at that demeanor. Would you not say, "Oh wow, that looks like someone made a caricature of Fidel Castro for One Piece"?
If you did tell me that this was based on Fidel Castro, that this was Oda's idea, then like I would 100% believe you. That's true.
Hmm. And we are going on like appearance and vibes. I don't think that he's a pigman. I don't think that he necessarily has Bishop Ned energy.
Hmm. Well, you haven't convinced me off of Pigman Wiggum.
We need to save our animal hybrid people. We are literally going to have a pig man coming up in a few episodes.
Oof. What the hell is One Piece?
It's the name of the treasure in the Grand Line.
I'll give you Tuvok Hibbert, but I won't give you Castro.
I'll accept it. Castro lives another day, but also RIP. Morning till I join you. And last we have Strawberry, who do you have for Strawberry?
I have Jesminder Bamra's father from
Hell
the
yeah.
Bennett like Beckham.
Oh, it's not even a parody. It's literally just
Just the
a slight
movie.
exaggeration. Yeah.
Yeah. And Skeleton Willie, which I will really press for. But who do you have?
My Rodrigo style is Jesminder Bahamra's father. And then I had young Jasper Beardsley, who are you looking at the
Oh yeah,
sheet?
I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, that's him in the kind of like zoot suit with that long ass chain and that beard and that hat. Like, I can get Edna Krabappel being disappointed that Jasper no longer looks like that piece of ass. Let's all get
Damn.
horny for Jasper. Yeah.
I feel like that Jasper's too good to like put on this character. Like I want to save that Jasper for like a bigger enemy that has like more swag.
More swag than a vice admiral.
Yeah.
Okay. I will look up Skeleton Willie again because I feel like my mind is just keeps going to the flaming Willie when he gets burnt alive in the nightmare before or a Nightmare on Elm Street parody.
Oh no, this is just Willie inside of a skeleton costume because the science department had lost their they had to sell their skeleton because they're so poor. So it's just him in a costume.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like comedically goes a long way.
It does, but we are getting close to spooky character season.
Oh my god, what the fuck does this anime do that I can't use any of the joke characters that come up?
Okay, we're going to get a bunch of monster freaks. We're also going to get goth mommy Robin. So One
If I
Piece.
if I didn't give you the blueprint to me and you
Mm-hmm.
didn't know you could be able to use that against me.
The phrase "goth mommy Robin" has activated the sleeper cell in Janine.
God damn it.
I mean, we both have Jesminder Bahamra's father.
Yeah, I mean by law both of us have agreed to that and it is a Rodrigo style. It was meant to be, so we got to pick it.
Mm-hmm.
If that was the rule with the new Jose Canseco, it's got to be the one now.
Yeah, it's I mean, at least he has a beard, and we can exaggerate the beard, and he does have a turban on, which is similar enough to the hat. So, it works. It works.
It works.
DohMance Dawn. It works. All right. So then our picks after much heated debate, and I am glad to finally be back to having heated debates with you, my friend. Our Doberman is new Jose Canseco. Momanga is Flint Drywall. Onigumo is the army colonel from G.I. Joe. Yamakaji is Tuvok Hibbert, and Strawberry is Jasminder Bahamra's father. And that wraps us up for picks this week. But you know what the good news is, Janine?
What is the good news?
Next week we got more dumbasses coming in.
Well, and if that's the case, then I'm gonna come back with a vengeance and hopefully not a hangover, so that I can be able to really get your ass this next time.
Yeah, I want you to have very good suggestions.
And I want to destroy you.
Glove. You know what? I welcome you destroying me. I'm, like I said, listening back to the old episodes, and I feel proud of you whenever you get me to say, "Nope, that is a much better idea." Remember, kids, don't get crunk the night before you have to record a podcast with me, because I always try and come correct.
That's true. That's true. Luke does not slip.
I mean, I do sometimes, but I acknowledge my mistakes and work to no longer make those going forward.
Or edit them out of the podcast so you don't have to hear.
That's right, John Bean. Wait, fuck. That's right, Janine. And then I'll leave that one in there as a joke. And people will be like, wait, did he do that on purpose? Is that a joke? And then they'll see me literally acknowledging the joke and be like, no, he's not that funny. All right, but yeah, next time, Luffy is going to continue to fight Rob Lucci, and everything is going to get a whole lot worse as we hit episode 50. If you would like to submit your ideas for recasting, you can either do that through our Blue Sky account, or you can join our Discord. You can also go and find us on our website at dohmancedawn.com. We also have an email, but I don't check that often in case you're trying to submit things through that. Janine, where can you be found online?
You could be able to find me online. Let's see. I'm on Twitter, Janine Juliet. I am also on Blue Sky at JanineJuliet.biscuit.social. Or you could find me on Instagram, Janine is dope. That is actually where one of our listeners had found me and had asked for the link to the Discord. So, multiple avenues to enter, but all roads lead to Discord.
Yeah, that is really the best way to try and send stuff to us. I'm assuming that's reverse eye patch.
Robin, I think.
Oh, yep, I believe so.
Yes.
All right. And if you would like to follow the artist for the show currently, that is Mike Patton. You can find on most places at Patent Pending, PATTENPENDING. Give him a follow, maybe even reach out about commissioning him and giving him money to draw something for you, because he does such a great job in these covers, and it is wonderful. And I'm looking forward to getting our 50th cover so I can just post all of the covers to Reddit and then feel like I'm getting validated for my karma. You can validate me for no karma on Blue Sky at Coltreg, KOLTREG. Or I have a Patreon under, I believe it's under my name. Actually, I haven't checked that in a while. Yeah, Luke Hair, Lukeherr. If you wanted to send me money to support this and the other things that I'm doing, and yeah, otherwise, if you ever need a person to do writing, writing, comics editing, uh, sometimes web design, project management, or other things of that nature, feel free to reach out. I'm always interested in additional projects because I've got a problem. We will see you in 2 more weeks for episode 50. Until then, stay safe, confess your feelings to people out in the world, and wait, aren't you doing a wrestling podcast, Janine?
Oh god damn it. Yes, I am. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be telling people about that.
The girlies.
Yes. Fucking hell. This is what a hangover will do to you folks. Um you could also be able to find me over at Wrestle Girlies. That is a wrestling podcast that I do with the artist Flighty Buttless, and we just sit down and talk about pro wrestling. We have a few episodes out now. We update irregularly, and we could use your support.
So, if you enjoy watching people pick each other up and then slam them down sometimes, or pick them up and then you think that they're going to kiss as their faces move in closer and closer and then slam each other down, go check out that show. And maybe pick someone up consensually and kiss them and or slam them down. It's up to you, as long as you have consent. We will see you again in 2 weeks. Smooth sailing, and hope you survive the Buster Call. Peace.